It is 18 hours, one Zambia, one nation. My name is Lista Msokwa with the news at this hour. We take a look at what makes headlines. The ruling in the matter where the UPND had applied to hold the swearing-in ceremony of the President-elect Edgar Lungu is being awaited. Four people have died in a traffic accident on Great North Road between Serenje and Mukushi. And police in Lusaka have arrested a police officer in charge for Kanyama Police Station and charged him with aggravated robbery. And now the news in detail. The ruling in the matter where the UPND had applied to hold the swearing-in ceremony of the President-elect Edgar Lungu is being awaited. Lusaka High Court Judge Mwela Chitabo is expected to deliver the ruling at 18:30 hours this evening. Yesterday, Judge Chitabo listened to arguments from both parties on the matter. The hearing lasted up to 22 hours last evening, and ruling in the matter was initially expected at 16 hours today. President Edgar Lungu's inauguration is scheduled for Tuesday, September 13, 2016. And yesterday, Judge Chitabo also reserved ruling to a later date on an application that was made by the Attorney General for UPND President Hakainde Hichilema and his running mate Geoffrey Mwamba to be deemed as vexatious litigants. In his application, Mr. Likando Kalaluka had argued that the two litigants have been moving from one case to another, hence abusing the court process. He reminded Judge Chitabo that the Constitutional Court and the High Court risk passing different judgments on the same matter, because Mr. Hichilema had been to both courts. But Mr. Hichilema's lawyer, John Sangwa, argued that the Attorney General's application must be dismissed. He argued that the cases before the Constitutional and High Courts are different. And the Constitutional Court has adjourned to Monday a case in which the UPND was seeking for interim reliefs. Among the reliefs sought is for the Constitutional Court to hold the inauguration of President Edgar Lungu pending the hearing of the main matter. In this matter, UPND President Hakainde Hichilema has asked the court whether President Lungu can be sworn in when the court did not declare him as winner. When the matter came up, the court was forced to adjourn because the UPND lawyers have not served the documents onto the Chief Justice and a deputy. And Hector Simfokwe has this.
The Constitutional Court and the High Court have continued to be the center of attention across the country. This is because the two institutions are expected to make a pronouncement on the UPND's application for the court to hold the inauguration ceremony of President Edgar Lungu and his Vice President Inonge Wina. In the Constitutional Court, UPND President Hakainde Hichilema wants to find out if President Edgar Lungu can be sworn in without being declared as winner by the Constitutional Court. In the High Court, Mr. Hichilema has made a similar application for the court to hold the swearing-in ceremony of President Edgar Lungu pending the hearing of the main matter. Mr. Hichilema also wants the Chief Justice Irene Mambirima to be restrained from conducting the swearing-in ceremony. In this matter, the petitioner claims that his rights were violated as the Constitutional Court did not give him an hearing. Earlier this week, High Court Judge Mwela Chitabo refused to grant the UPND an ex parte hearing, but ordered for an inter party hearing which was concluded yesterday. Mr. Hichilema rushed to the High Court for interim reliefs after the Constitutional Court dismissed his application where he challenged the election of President Edgar Lungu. When the matter came up for hearing of interim relief sought by the UPND, the Constitutional Court adjourned the matter to Monday because the petitioner's lawyers had not served the documents on the Chief Justice Irene Mambirima and the Deputy Marvin Mwanamwambwa. This matter has been presided over by Constitutional Court Vice President Mugeni Mulenga. Hector Simfokwe, TV2 News in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, preparations for the inauguration of President Edgar Lungu and Vice President-elect Inonge Wina have heightened at Lusaka's Heroes Stadium. A ZNBC news crew that went to Heroes Stadium found security and defense officers perfecting their drills in readiness for the momentous occasion. Officers from Cabinet Office were also found on site giving guidance on how the ceremony will be conducted. Here is a report.
Preparations for the inauguration of re-elected President Edgar Chagwa Lungu have advanced at Hero Stadium. A check by ZNBC found defense and security forces perfecting their drills for that special day. And those that will be providing entertainment were also in attendance. Officials from Cabinet Office do not want to leave anything to chance. They were on site to orient officers on how the proceedings for this momentous occasion will be conducted. The security wings mounted a rehearsal guard of honor to demonstrate proceedings of Tuesday's event. The Vice President-elect security detail was also on hand to demonstrate the swearing-in of Inongewina, who was President Lungu's running mate in the August 11 polls. And the ruling PF, who are also at the Hero Stadium to check on preparations, have urged Zambians to turn up in numbers to witness the inauguration of President Lungu and Mrs. Wina.
We are inviting not only Patriotic Front members, we are inviting all Zambians of all standing. This is a state function. It's for all the citizens of this country, regardless of their political affiliation. So we are asking everyone to unite. Let's rally behind President Edgar Chagwa Lungu as we begin a journey of development. We want to develop this country. We don't want to remain stagnant.
President Edgar Lungu will be inaugurated as Zambia's 6th president on 13th September 2016. This follows his victory in the August elections. Ingu Tumwanza, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
And now King Mohammed VI of the Kingdom of Morocco says there has been a quantum leap in the diplomatic and political relations between Zambia and Morocco under the leadership of President Edgar Lungu. King Mohammed VI says he values the brotherly African bonds that exist between Zambia and Morocco and the people of the two countries. In his congratulatory message dated 17th August to the President Edgar Lungu, the King pledged continued collaboration with the President and the Zambian government to consolidate the relations based on fruitful cooperation and active solidarity. And the Royal establishment, on behalf of the Litunga and the people of Western Province, has described President Lungu's re-election as a clear demonstration of the trust and confidence that the people of Zambia have in his leadership. The Royal establishment has also commended President Lungu for remaining calm, humble and tolerant during the trying moment the country faced, saying the president demonstrated honest leadership and commitment to the One Zambia, One Nation motto. The Barroso Royal establishment pledged unwavering support to the President and the PF administration in his quest to steer the country to another level in development. In a congratulatory message dated 7th September and signed by Nyambe Mwenda, the Induna Mukulwa Kashiko, who is also acting Gambela, the Royal establishment expressed confidence that with God's guidance and resilience of the Zambian people, President Lungu will succeed to move Zambia to prosperity. The Barroso Royal establishment is happy with the special relationship that exists between the President and King Lubosi Mwiko II. This is according to a statement released to ZNBC News by Special Assistant to the President for Press and Public Relations, Amos Chanda. Meanwhile, the Law Association of Zambia, LAZ, hopes that Zambians will unite behind the Republican president to be ushered into office after being sworn in. LAZ President Linda Kasonde says the Republican president will be in office to serve all Zambians regardless of political affiliation, social status, or religion. Ms. Kasonde says there is need to promote peace and unity among Zambians as a country divided cannot stand. Meanwhile, Ms. Kasonde has expressed displeasure at the alarming increase in the hate speech, propaganda and misinformation surrounding the two largest political parties in the country, especially on social media. Ms. Kasonde says the status quo is a threat to peace and security in the country. And Ms. Kasonde says LAS believes that it is unfortunate that the issues raised in the 2016 presidential election petition were not heard and finally determined by the Constitutional Court on merit. Ms. Kasonde has, however, cautioned members of the public against condemning the judiciary over the manner it handled the 2016 presidential election petition. She says members of the public must have confidence in the judiciary. And Ms. Kasonde says LAS has referred to the Legal Practitioners Committee of LAS the recommendation by the Constitutional Court that Lusaka lawyer Martha Mshipe must be disciplined following her conduct in court during the proceedings of the presidential petition. This is contained in a statement released to ZNBC News in Lusaka. We take a break, but still to come, CBU lecturer dies in China, plus many other stories. Stay with us. We continue with the news. 4 people have died in a traffic accident on Great North Road between Serenje and Mokoshi. The accident happened around 02 hours this morning at Palasha area, 40 kilometers north of Mokoshi. Police spokesperson Reha Monga has confirmed that among the deceased are 3 males and 1 unidentified female. He said Christopher Chimoto of Zingalume, who was driving a Scania lorry registration number AJD 5672 belonging to Motherland Transport, failed to maintain his lane and hit into another Scania lorry, which was being driven by 34-year-old Harrison Ngambi of Kasama.
Around 02 hours along Great North Road at a place called Palasha area, which is 40 kilometers north of Mkushi, we did receive a report of a fatal road traffic accident involving Christopher Chimoto, 48 years of age, of unknown house number, Zingalume compound, Lusaka, and another vehicle involved was driven by Ngambi Harrison, 34 years of age, of a non-house number, but of Jazz compound in Kasama. What happened is that the first driver of this motor vehicle, the motor vehicles, Christopher Chimoto, did actually cause the accident by failing to keep to the near lane, and hence went to hit on the other vehicle, causing the death of 3 unknown passengers and 1 unknown female passenger. The driver has since been detained and is going to be charged for causing death by dangerous driving.
A Copperbelt University lecturer, Costa Mwaba, died in his room in China, and his death was known only 10 days later. Mr. Mwaba, 51, was pursuing a PhD in Science and Technology at the University of Huazhong in China. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced the death of Mr. Mwaba in a statement made available to ZNBC News in Lusaka today by the ministry's public relations officer, Dorcas Chileshe. And Zambia's ambassador to China, Win Chibesakunda, said the Zambian embassy in China is collaborating with CBU management and the family to facilitate arrangements to dispatch the remains of Mr. Mwaba to Zambia for burial. The late Mr. Mwaba had been in China for 3 years and was supposed to graduate in February 2017. Meanwhile, a 12-year-old boy of Mazabuka has died on the spot after falling from an ox cart. Southern Province Police Commissioner Godwin Piri has confirmed and identified the deceased as Luambo Hagonze of Shamwenda village in Chief Mwanachingwala's chiefdom. Mr. Piri says the boy fell off the ox cart and died on the spot after hitting into a tree. Police in Lusaka have arrested a police officer in charge for Kanyama police station and charged him with aggravated robbery. The officer in charge is reported to have attacked a Lusaka businessman and got away with elephant tusks and colossal sums of money at gunpoint. The incident took place on Wednesday around 7 hours in the morning, and the suspect has since been detained at Central Police. And when contacted for a comment, police spokesperson Reha Monga said the officer is under question and over the crime that took place on Wednesday.
I can confirm to you that we are investigating a matter which occurred on Wednesday this week. where we are questioning the officer in charge of Kanyama Police Station, and the matter is still under investigations, and not at such a time when we are done with investigations are we able to issue a comprehensive statement over this matter.
Still in community news, the Lusaka Water and Sewerage Company has retrieved a fetus in Lusaka's Matero East Sewerage Network, and Lusaka Water and Sewerage Company Public Relations Officer Nshamba Mzungu has called on people to stop throwing solid matter in the sewerage network to avoid unnecessary blockages. Teofista Long now reports.
Lusaka's Matero East area has been agonizing with sewerage blockages for a long time, and this has been an extra cost on the part of the utility firm, as Lusaka Water and Sewerage Company is spending colossal sums of money and time to unblock the sewer lines. As the workers from the utility company were unblocking the sewer lines, a fetus has been retrieved here. Lusaka Water and Sewerage Company Public Relations Officer Nshamba Mzungu has cautioned the residents of Matero East to take extra caution on the sewerage lines.
Team was this morning working on this sewer blockage, which has been blocked for about 3 days now. So as they were unblocking the sewer, the first thing which came out was a stillborn baby, and we have since reported this matter to the police, because it's beyond our jurisdiction as Lusaka Water and Sewerage Company.
And the residents here are equally concerned with the perpetual blockages.
Masuaya mamene bakambira atuvuta chifukwa bakafasulula lero tukayendako muona futi bayamba bakafasulula apa mpeza tifuti ali apa bakafasulula apa mpeza ti ali apa manje tukuone kati zamene kasi zamene bachita zatu zotailamo zinthu zoipa zamene zivutisa masuwati
apa mwandi tufuna kuti bamene yaba bamene aba MP matijani ba MP bamene aba batuonene ko lodi bafasa konsi kwatuku bana basowera matubi
suwa ya atuvota mai wanga masuwa papasuruliwa bakapasurula lero mailo mudapeza lodi yote yazona.
And the newly elected Matero MP is aware of the main challenges facing the people.
The first thing I want to do is to go and improve the capacity of water at Humanism Hill, so that we get rid of these blockages and water shortages that we have as a priority.
The residents of Matero should learn to guard public infrastructure jealously, as they are the ones who suffer most when the infrastructure is misused. Teofista Lungu, TV2 News in Lusaka.
The Japanese government has provided 91,138 United States dollars to Beit-Cure Hospital to improve X-ray equipment for the health institution. Japanese ambassador to Zambia, Kiyoshi Kiyonuma, says the grant provided to Beit-Cure will improve access to high-quality medical services. Mr. Kiyonuma says the project being implemented will also support installation of the equipment and also provide training for hospital staff. He says the Japanese companies with high technology will continue to develop business to improve the social welfare of the Zambian people. The Japanese ambassador said this at the signing ceremony of the grant contract with the executive director of Beit-Cure Hospital, Martin Kaspari. Dr. Kaspari disclosed that 10,000 operations have already been conducted since the health institution was opened in 2006. We take another break. Coming on our news is sports and international news. We now have foreign news. North Korea has carried out what appears to be its largest ever nuclear test, sparking global indignation. This is the country's 5th test. Officially, the tests are a demonstration of the toughest will of the Korean people to show they can iterate to end attack by enemies. It was also a show against the racket of threats and sanctions that the nation has suffered at the hands of the global community via the UN. Unstated but clearly obvious was anger at US and South Korean plans to install an anti-missile defense system in the South, along with the traditional lambasting of the annual US-South Korea joint military exercise. In sports news, A football analyst has described as unfortunate the termination of contract for striker Fayo Tembo by Hapoel Nan of Israel. Musonda Chibolo says the termination of the contract by the Israeli side raises suspicions on scouting. Chibolo has, however, called on the players' union to take keen interest in Fayo's case to avoid future occurrences.
Development for Fayo Tembo. He's a fantastic player, but like you have known, Chico, you know, for the last 4 years or so, he has not been stable with his clubs. But we will not blame the player, particularly for this last, move, because we understand that there were differences with the coach. He signed about 3 weeks ago. He featured in 1 or 2 matches, and then later the coach realized, we were looking for a striker. This guy is a midfielder or a winger. But it beats me in terms of how the coach had decided to give him a contract in the first place. Because before you sign anybody, you have to send a scouting team. You give them specifications for what kind of a player you're looking for. So before the player puts, pen to paper, you have to agree within yourself that this is the sort of player that we want. I would want to believe there could be other issues besides the reasons that have been given. But it's good that Fayo has taken it well. He's coming back to Power Dynamos.
Meanwhile, the Power Dynamos Football Club executive says the return of midfielder Fayo Tembo will increase the team's chances of finishing in the top 2 spot in the 2016 MTN First Super League. Club Secretary Ricky Mafunda says the midfielder left the club when he was in great form, scoring 8 goals in the league, and hope he continues with the same form. And Power Dynamos coach Dan Kabwe said Fayo's return is good news for the team, but expects the player to fight for a place in the team. Finally, in the news, the Netball Association of Zambia General Secretary Pritchard Ngoma has expressed hope that the national netball team will perform well in the ongoing 6th Invitational Tournament in Singapore. Mr. Ngoma says this is because the team has formidable players who are capable of rising to the challenge. He said this when he featured on Morning Live, a program, and the TV2 News and Current Affairs segment.
The group, the standings, we have 8 points. Today we play the horse just to consolidate our top position. And then tomorrow we play the second best in the group, just to make sure that we go through the rankings. 1, 2, 3, 4, up to the 6th team. We changed a couple of things. The team now has different players that can play different styles. We have the heights, maybe not the right heights, but I think we changed some sections of the team to suit what we wanted to achieve. It's still work in progress, but I think we're on the right course.
Okay, so.
And that's it for news at 18 hours. We recap on the headlines. The ruling in the matter where the UPND had applied to hold the swearing-in ceremony of the President-elect Edgar Lungu is being awaited. Lusaka High Court Judge Mwilash Davo is expected to deliver the ruling at 18:30 hours this evening. 4 people have died in a traffic accident on Great North Road between Serenje and Mukushi. The accident happened around 02 hours this morning at Palasha area, 40 kilometers north of Mukushi. And police in Lusaka have arrested a police officer in charge for Kanyama police station and charged with him with aggravated robbery. The officer in charge is reported to have attacked a Lusaka businessman and got away with elephant tusks and colossal sums of money at gunpoint. We'll be back at 20 hours for more news. For now, good evening.